Dr. Kenneally, thank you for being on Veggie Channel today. We are at VegMed 2019 in London, and I would like to ask you as a first question how you became vegan. How is it possible that during the life of a physician all of a sudden you change your lifestyle? Maybe this happened when you were a kid, I don't know.
No, it happened certainly when I was an adult. A great question. So I became a GP, that's a family doctor, in about 2003. And as a doctor, you don't really get to know your patients all that well in hospital because they come and visit you once every few months and then they go away again. But as a GP, you see your patients all the time, so I got to know them a lot better. And I quickly realised over the next few months and years that diet was playing a really significant part in my patients' lives and how healthy they were, or in fact were not. I got to thinking about nutrition, and that led me to go back to university, and I did a degree in nutrition to supplement my medical degree.
Okay, so you were already a physician?
I was already a physician,
all right.
But there's a degree in the UK that you can do. It's designed for physicians who want to become nutritionists. So I went and did that, and having been forced to study all of the evidence for nutrition, I took a look back and realised that plants were the things that gave us all the health that we needed, and meat just didn't really seem to do very much for us. So I started talking to other colleagues, and I started looking online, people like Dr. Clapper, Dr. Bernard, those sorts of people, and I realised that actually the evidence for veganism is overwhelming, and so several years ago now I became fully plant-based.
So what was actually the first bit of information that made the switch in your brain?
I don't think you can say there's one. There were so many. I think certainly writing essays about the benefits of plants in my degree was very thought-provoking. I think the thing that finally made me make the switch was when I was talking to my friend about oily fish and saying, well, I'm sure oily fish is still good for you. And she convinced me that actually we don't need to eat oily fish. We can eat flax seeds and other healthy seed oils, and those will provide the nutrients that the fish give us, or indeed we can eat the algae that the fish eat and just cut out the middleman. So that was the day I gave up fish, and that was when I actually became vegan, because fish was the last thing that I cut out of my diet.
Nowadays we have so much scientific literature, evidence about the plant-based diets. Why a lot of physicians still find it difficult to accept this?
I think physicians take time to change. One example of this is many years ago now, there was a woman who did some research about childhood cancer, and she was the person who found out the evidence that women who get x-rayed when they're pregnant often give birth to babies who go on to have cancer. And she published a huge article in a big journal saying women who have x-rays are 2 to 3 more times likely to have babies who have cancer when they're very young. It took 20 years before it changed any policies. That's one example. Smoking was another one. It just takes time for the practice to catch up with what the evidence said. And I think we're reaching a tipping point now. I think people are starting to hear it, but it's just very slow.
So what kind of suggestion would you give to a physician who is just starting collecting this kind of information, and somebody who is interested but has not made the switch yet? What kind of advice would you give him? I
would say please read the evidence, because the evidence is overwhelming and it's obvious. As Dr. Kim Williams, who's an American cardiologist, famously says, there are 2 types of cardiologists. There are vegans and the ones who haven't read the data. Just read the data. It's out there. There are some great resources. You can go to Michael Clapper's website. You can go to Neil Barnard, Michael Greger. If you type in a vegan doctor, lots of websites will come up. Just get reading.
Okay, thank you very much.